Okay. Action Tycoon. Shit. Okay, Action Tycoon, Metal Tycoon, for like a second, Metal Tycoon. What other bands? I'm trying to bridge the gap between Action Tycoon and Zebra because I know there was a lot in there. I just can't even, because it didn't matter that much. Because Funerals came back for a reunion before, you remember, like after Action Tycoon,
Yeah.
Funeral came back for a reunion a little bit.
Yeah, but we didn't come back to play.
We
really just came back to
record.
Yeah, we recorded a couple of different times.
We record. I'm
Yeah,
so dumb.
I'm dumb too. I said a couple of different times.
Hasawagada, hasawagada.
A couple of different times.
Couple different time though. Okay. I can't even. Let's fucking bridge the gap between Action Tycoon and Zebra. Because I feel like it's such a far gap, because it is, years
Okay,
wise.
so...
but when there was a lot of dead period, but not for you.
Funeral Salads on Ice, Action Tycoon, HM1,
Oh, yeah?
and then really HM1 kind of takes us all the way up to Zebra Mountain. Because
Yeah.
HM1 really took up most of 2008.
Yep.
HM1, who we later incorporated Jake Timon towards the end of it, but HM1 had me, Jacob Broughton, Nate, Lonnie, of course.
Devin.
Devin, but not really. He was kind of inactive
Oh,
at the
Jake
time.
Timon.
Colton and Emily Jansen, and then freaking Jake Timon towards the very end. And I was the main advocate for bringing Jake Timon on, just because dude was sexy. Dude was like the most popular kid. He was seen. He was into the right music, and he was good friend. He was okay with friends with Jacob Broughton. And you could tell that like Jake Timon kind of was adapting from Jacob Broughton a little bit according to looks and the black bangs and all that. But Jake Timon quickly found his own style. But the thing is like, I was like, this kid's hella cool. We need another guitar player other than Jacob Broughton. I think I just always, I don't know, it was just like, he was cool. I was giving him guitar lessons.
Yeah.
And,
to be in HM1, right?
to be in the band. And
Are we going to say it's the church band?
it was the church band, yeah. It was the band that Lonnie started, because it started from, we were playing songs, joined the worship band in about 2007. I'm just
Oh,
gonna say.
that's what I was doing.
No, 2006.
I was trying to think what I was doing while you were doing all that shit. That's what I was doing.
But just really, the whole time Think of Old Paint was going on, we were going to the church, and we were even playing on the band. We were playing in the church band. So this was going on, and it started...
HM1 is essentially the church band.
History Makers, yeah. It was basically, so we were a part of a youth group called History Makers, me, Nate, and Jake. And Lonnie had us learn all these covers, and then basically, this is like 2006. Somewhere along the lines, we had a meeting, and he said, I want you guys to know that actually not all of these songs that you're playing are covers. Some of them are originals. And I wrote them. And we had already learned them and been playing them, and we didn't know. I'm like, oh. And then somebody who like knew a lot of Christian songs was like, no wonder I'd never heard of it.
Okay.
And then he's like, yeah, well, you know, my vision is that we become a band and we go past just being in the church.
So it's like Hillsong.
Basically. Because he had us watch like the DVD of Hillsong too. But he's like, I have the vision that we go out and we eventually, you know, tour and and you know, da-da-da-da.
Which is the same thing Christian
Yeah,
style.
and ended up kind of taking over in 2008. By 2008, which was 2 years later, essentially, we had already been recording in 2007, on and off, and we were kind of into it, kind of writing songs for it. But by 2008, we were kind of getting into it, and I started to get really devout. I think we all started to get really devout.
Yeah, we all were.
And yeah, and it really affected everyone around us. Like, it was really a big thing, and started to write